What's going on, guys? I hope it's not too sunny. Maybe I need to be right in front of the sun. All right. What is going on? Today we are here. This is probably not a good. Let's do it maybe this way. I don't want the glare. Is there still glare? Oh gosh. Don't glare me, baby. Okay. I make sure ain't no bees around. Okay. So, guys, I am here with another one for you. I forgot my headphones in the house, but I kind of wanted to make this pretty quick. I have my sunglasses, but I won't put them on today because I actually did my makeup. See, it's like little buggy duggies, but I like this little area because it's like, you know, cute. It's like water, you know, near, even though it's a pool. It's still water. Like a little playground. I like it. So it's just like a good little like area for me, little cabanas. So I wanted to do this video talking about when the power in walking away from situations. I did something come up out of there because today I'm armed and I'm ripe and raw. It's the birds. So today, like I said, the video is going to be about the power of walking away. And when I actually am recently, I always knew, like I always would see the difference, like the response that you get from people when you actually walk away. I lost a pinky. But the response you get from people when you actually walk away, opposed to fighting it out or begging or pleading or, you know, payback or whatever it is. Like, it's when they say the power in walking away, it really is very powerful. So I'm going to give you two examples in my life of when I walked away and when I did not, and the responses that I got. Okay, so the first example of when I did not walk away, before I really understood what walking away was. Now, before I go into the example, I don't mean just being nasty, mean, and you know, you actually are the person that's wrong and you're a narcissist and you have narcissistic tendencies and you just want to ghost somebody. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you realize that the person or the situation that you're dealing with, or the person or the job or whatever, is not valuing you or your time or your presence or your essence. It's time to walk away. It's time to walk away. I like this, Riri. You don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually a part of the example. So it's crazy. So yeah, so if you're like, you know, have this toxic trait of like, oh, ghosting people, or you have a whole bunch of like situations and you're like, oh, well, this one's getting too serious, so I'm gonna walk away from this person. I don't mean that. Like I said, I mean, if you have given your all to a situation, to a job, to a person, to a church organization, and they constantly use you, or you constantly are made to feel like what you're doing is not enough, and you know you're giving your all, what you're doing, you know, if you're constantly you know, just like I said, giving your all. Sorry, I saw the police, and you know, I'm still nigga, you know what I'm saying? I say the police and I be like, ready to stop playing with me. So anyway, I ain't even in the hood, you know what I'm saying? So freaking yeah, and you constantly just give your all, and you know that you should be valued a little bit more, or a lot more. You know that what you're giving is just worth more than the way you're being treated. And a lot of the times in relationships, interpersonal relationships, we'll stay with someone, or we'll be with someone, and male or female, and we'll constantly give our all. And you'll hear a lot of the stories when we get into like our 30s, and people are scarred because they have overstayed a situation, or what, you know, overstayed their welcome with someone and they mistreat you, or they talk down on you, or they just don't value you. Like, you know, you should be waking up every morning to "I love you, king and queen," and they like, nigga, please, ain't nobody got time for you. Like, what you gonna give me? You gonna get some money? Like, then you know, okay, boy, it's time to go. Or if you know that you know, you're giving your all to a situation, you're working hard, and you come home to a person, it's so many different ways. You come home to a person that's just sitting around on the couch all day playing video games, or just, you know, and you're working hard and they ain't even trying to match your drive. My nigga, it's time to go. Like, obviously, like, they don't respect what you got going on up in here. Oh wow. Obviously they don't respect what you got going on up in there, so it's time to bounce. So again, I'm going to give you 2 different examples in my life of what it looked like when I overstayed and when I walked away. So the first one, I'll start with when I overstayed my welcome. So I talk about this guy a lot when I was in my videos, in my past videos. Now, this is the guy when I was in my mid-20s, and I say in a video, I think of part 1 of why I took a break from relationships. This guy was what I thought, like, everything I wanted. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I love him, like, he's the best, oh my God, like, marry me, put it on him, make him want to marry me, know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, give me some, know what I'm saying? And so with him, he was, the reason that I thought that and I felt like that is because he was completely different from what I was used to. Like, he wasn't, I'm not from the hood, but I, for some reason, liked the opposite. I mean, it's not weird to be attracted to the opposite. Like, I'm a suburban girl, so it's like when I would, and but all of my cousins are like from the hood, so I think, like, because they were always around me, like, that's what, except for like one cousin, but that's what I would like because that's what I really knew. Like, even though I wasn't from the hood, I only always saw men like that, so I could relate to men like that. And so, but it doesn't mean that that's what I wanted. So it was a guy, like I said, in my mid-20s. We'll just call him like Raheem, if his name, oh no, we can't, oh well, Raheem, okay, I don't know anyone named Raheem, but it's so close to someone that I do know, but he probably ain't even gonna go see this. But so Raheem was very different. He went to college. I don't think I had dated straight-laced dudes, but they had never been to college. And I was just like, oh my God, we're gonna get married, have everything, and I'm gonna have the big wedding and the ring, and he's so smart. And so, so I was just like infatuated by this guy, where I wasn't attracted to this guy. It was really nothing there for me other than all of the things on paper that this guy actually offered, like, that he showed me that I actually liked. So it was on paper. So freaking, as time went on, I had like the upper hand in the situation because of the fact that I wasn't, now that's toxic already, thinking about the upper hand and stuff like that, but we'll get to that in a whole nother situation. But I had the upper hand because I was also someone that he wasn't used to. So just with me and my free spiritness and stuff like that, so he was so into me, like so into me, and I was used to that. I had started losing weight by this time, so I was used to men already, because at the point when I was heavier, they would have to get to know me, but then they would fall for me. So with this guy, I'm like, okay, and I'm slimmer, so I know all the wrong things, but he was very much into me. And because it was just all the things that he had on paper that I liked, I wasn't that interested in him. It was just the idea of what it could be. So long story short, like I said, in the beginning I had the upper hand and I could do anything, until one day it switched. It just flipped. And what happened was, because I was so into the idea of what we could be because of everything that he had, like all of his assets and all of the things that he could do, and I just didn't feel like it was any more options out there like that. Because of that, these birds is killing it, ain't it? because of that, when he actually tried to pull away one time, I lost it. Like, I was like, no, no, don't. Like, I went off. And so what I realized in hindsight is that he started to test that theory and realized, like, okay, yeah, she ain't going nowhere and stuff like that. And where before, when we first started out, it was nothing for me to leave you alone. Like, you ain't want to call me? Okay, cool, I can call you. You don't want to talk to me? All right, bet. Like, we ain't about to do this. But once I actually started to get into the lifestyle with him and actually see, like, all that I can, like, receive and can do, and it's horrible, but it's the truth, and I realized, like, all that is possible, I was like, oh, sniggity, snappity, stew. You know what I'm saying? I want all of you. And so, like I said, he started to test that theory and was just like, oh, yeah, she's not going anywhere. So, over time, he really started to really push it to the point where this man started to go out of the country and, like, just be, like, having sex with different women, just doing what he wanted, just because he knew I wouldn't leave. He started talking to me crazy. Now, to his defense, was pretty reckless with my mouth, but it wasn't quite like how he started to get. I mean, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so, when he, things started to progress, like I said, he started to just be like, you know what, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I would start to be like, oh, you're a man, you can do what you want to do, just as long as I don't find out. I never said it, but it was like an unspoken rule or whatever. So, over time, what I didn't realize was that situation, of course, my mom, she calls me. Anyway, so what I realized in that time is that, in hindsight, I realized that in that time, he really was just chipping. I was allowing him to chip away and chip away and chip away at me and chip away. And so what started to happen is that he started to just lose respect. Because if for real, what should have happened is that when he started to act crazy and he like, oh, I'm gonna leave. All right, bye. You know what I'm saying? Because what you got, I could get. Or if it's another man out there, it's another man out there. You know what I'm saying? Look, I bleached this, but I don't care. I still wore it anyway because I thought it gave it a little flavor in your ear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. So like I said, what I should have done was leave because he lost all respect for me to the point where, like I said, every time he would try to leave, like I would be like, no. To the point, like once it got to like I don't know how many years, he ghosted me. Like he just ghosted me. Like we broke up, like, but we had always done that. But this time it was like ghost. And that was obviously because he like, whatever, screw her. Like, it's no value in this woman. That's how I feel. I feel that he was just like, bro, like, it's no value. She don't even love herself. And he would say things leading up to that, but like implying that I didn't, that he realized that I didn't love myself. But I felt like I did, but I didn't, and that it speaks volumes when we accept men or women, when we accept things, like I said, churches, organization, relationships, it doesn't matter. When you accept things and you keep on going back and you keep on accepting it and keep on dealing with it and keep on, eventually people are going to look at you like, oh yeah, oh shorty, shorty. I'm shorty in himself, know what I'm saying? And it ain't cute. It's really not cute. Think about, because we all have had those people in our lives. Think about that person that constantly, like, you could do anything to, or you could say anything or talk to them anyway, and they constantly kept coming back to you, kept talking to you, kept dealing with you. Think about them. Think about even as employers. Think about the employees that you could say shut the F up to, and they would never leave. Think about those people. Think about how you felt about those people. It was never good. It was never a good thought. It was never like this person really respects themselves ever. So that's the side of overstaying the welcome, and why it's just not a good thing, because not only does it make this person or these people look at you with no respect, you ultimately lose it for yourself, because then when the person that you're breaking your back for just leaves, it's like, what did I do all this for? Like, I literally did all this for nothing. And then you have to rebuild yourself when you could have just walked away. So I'm going to go to the point of, it's another relationship, to the point of where I actually did walk away and how that looked. So I talk about these relationships in my videos. So the one that I said in the why I took a break from relationships part 2, when I said that his house was a straight shot to hell. Okay. This is the example of me walking away. So we didn't date long. Now, mind you, this is years after the first guy. So at this point, I'm realizing, like, yeah, nah, I can't go through that again. I can't do that again. And it's not going to ever happen again. So, sorry. So he's like, so me and this guy, he started out super good. He started out making me think like, oh, he's just the best thing walking since freaking Gullah Gullah. You know what I mean? Because Gullah Gullah was the best thing. So he had me thinking that he was the best thing since Gullah Gullah. Know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, absolutely. This man is just gold, life, and silver, and all the ashes that's in the Bible that you had to sit on when you... So I'm like, yes, this dude is life. Like, yeah. And so as time went on, he was absolutely a narcissist. Okay. And the other guy possibly was too. I think so. But he was maybe like covert. I mean, I think he was. I think we both had narcissistic tendencies. But at that time, like I say in a previous video, I was trying to change. So I was really trying to have God like show me like what it is and why can't I have a real situation. So I'm thinking, okay, you have to take too much in order to have a situation. So with this guy, years later, because I did all that and that didn't work, he was, like I say, he's a narcissist, but I was just really learning what narcissism really was. And he was just literally the spawn of Satan, okay? Like, he was like from Satan's rib, okay? He was literally from Satan. What is that? What is that? Every time in my videos when I mention the devil, something weird just happens. Every single time. So he so he's like, yeah, whatever. So him and I, we dated for probably like 3 or 4 months, and well, we went strong for 3 or 4 months, but it took about, after the 3-4 month period, it took me about 2 to 3 more months to leave him alone, like to actually no longer let him have any kind of control over me. I don't care what he thought, but he definitely, after 2 or 3 months after that 3-4 month period, yeah. So let me go back to the story. Sorry. So we would spend a lot of time together. He would always be at my house. I would always, well, at first I wasn't always at his house, but we would always be at my house. When I did go to his house though, he would be like, yeah, you can stay and you can do all that. So I never really thought anything weird about this guy. Like, I'm like, oh no, it can't be, because why would you let me stay at your house? Well, little did I know. Know what I'm saying? Because these people be tripping. So he's like, yeah, whatever. And he was always in my house. We would always like do things together. We like painting and sipping in the house and stuff, because we was creative. And like, you know, creative and shit. Creative and spit. I don't want to curse. But anyway, so So yeah, so we're at the house all the time. We're always together, spending time. So one day, like I said, 3-4 months. So things started to but the thing is, we argued all the time. So things started to get so aggressive between us, like to the point where it was like, bro, like you're tripping, okay? And one day, I remember he came over and he was with that aggressive stuff, and we kept hanging up on each other, not talking to each other, and just doing this stupid song and dance. It was just like little situations that shouldn't have been that big were just huge. Like little disagreements turned into like literally we could have fist fought. And I'm like, bro, like this is weird. So one day he came over and it was aggressive, and I told him like, I can't do this anymore. And mind you, this was probably like the first time that I didn't go too far with the situation. Actually, he's not the first one. It was a guy I dated a few months, like almost like a minute before that, but it was really short. But I cut that off. But this one, I didn't really like that guy. I really liked this one. So when cause usually like when you don't know he the devil, like he usually be fun. Know what I'm saying? So anyway, so freaking this guy, yeah, so he came over and it was crazy. And I'm like, listen, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's too much. This mizzle fizzle, okay, chased me around my own island in my kitchen, okay? Chase me around. Let me tell you something. Chase me around my island in my kitchen. And I lived by myself at the time. Like, I live by myself now, but I live by myself. Like, my roommates moved out, all that. So he literally chased me around my own island in my kitchen. And I'm like, oh, this nigga's tripping, to the point where I actually had to lock myself in my room with a knife, because I didn't know. I'm like, bro, you're tripping. So he ended up falling asleep like out on my stairs, like right outside my door. And I'm like, oh my God, like he won't leave. And I'm like, should I call the police? But I was real stupid too. Like, oh, I ain't gonna call it. But I honestly, it ain't even like I was stupid. You just never know what the police are gonna do these days. So I really just didn't want to be in no crap. Like, I really didn't. So freaking, but I'm like, if the nigga come up in this door, he's getting stabbed. And I think he knew that. So he didn't. So the next morning I was in there sleep, and he came in, and I was like, bro, you're like holding me hostage in my house. And so he left. That made him leave. He's sober now, so it made him leave. And so the next day, he called me talking about, oh, I think I'm in love with you, girl. And I think I'm in love. Whoa, whoa. Now, at this point, we weren't telling each other like we love him, whatever. But because I was in love with the toxic, because I was toxic, I felt like I did. And so when he said that, I didn't feel like I was in love with him, but I'm like, I feel like I could really love you. You know what I'm saying? And so when he said, so he's like, yeah, I feel like I'm in love with you, whatever. So that was like literally like all like selling me your soul. Like, you should, like, if you at that time wanted to get me, tell me that. So everything he did went out the window. And so once he said that, now mind you, I was still very much in control of all of my actions. I was still like, you know what, I'm not going to fall for anybody like I did like that, and it not be genuine and it not be reciprocated. Like, I'm not going to say fall, because I don't know if falling for someone is actually healthy, but I'm not going to really give my all until I know. But he said that, Lord. He said that to me. Why he said that to me? And so he said that to me, and I'm like, okay, like, let's do it. So as soon as he did that, he said that to me, I opened up, and I'm like, oh, I bet, like, we're gonna do this thing, like, let's do it. As soon as I did that, he pulled back. Like, he pulled back. It's like almost like he was just trying to find a way to get me, like all the other girls that he had in his life and women in his life, and just to hook and sinker. You know what I mean? And it almost worked. So in this situation, like, I'm not gonna be on here too long, because I always be on the way for like hours. So as time went on, right after that situation, probably like 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, I had just an inkling. I'm like, are you still sleeping with your kid's mom? Mind you, I had already felt that when we first met, that he was. So this time I'm like, we're actually like doing nasty things. And so I'm like, are you sleeping with your kid's mom? This is after he tells me he thinks he's falling in love with me. And so he's like, nah. You know, like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When God is ready for you to get up out of there, cause He know it's something, and He know like you starting to repeat them cycles and repeat them patterns. He about to be like, all right, bet. And sometimes I think He does things like He shows you things, but He still want to see what you're gonna do with it. Because like I told you in the past, I would have dealt with things. This time, let me tell you something. So, like I said in the video, part 2, and I'm not gonna go in depth because if you go to part 2 of why I took a break from relationships, this story is in there. So one day we're arguing, guys like pull up at his house. Now mind you, I never did that, and so I'm like, all right, bet. Long story short, rode past, saw this woman getting out the car. I'm like, Lord Jesus. So I walked up, I rode back around, walked into the house, she opened the door, and I'm like, oh my God, Lord. And so freaking he never comes out until she tells him to come out. And so even after that situation, me actually asking her if they were still together, she was like, well, we still effing, you know. She didn't say they were together, but she said what I had thought. And I wasn't with anyone. I don't do that. I don't sleep with multiple people. So I'm like, if I'm sleeping with you, it needs to just be that on the other side too. I don't got time for that. And so it wasn't. But mind you, with the other guy, it wasn't either. So freaking, but I overstayed my welcome. So he so even after that, even after I saw the girl, talk to the girl, he was still somehow almost able to convince me she was lying. Almost able. And I was almost willing. I mean, like I said, 2 to 3 months after, I was still in and out. Like I would block him and then I would come back. I remember one day I pulled out in front of his house and I was just crying, and I called him and he always just welcomed me back, just like the devil do. Know what I'm saying? Like it was never no kind of consequence. It was just like, yeah, girl, yeah, you can come back up in here and almost lose your life. Come, please. Still fuck him up. So anyway, time went on, whatever. So like I said, it was a 2-3 month period until one day like I said, if you go back to the video, you'll see, you know, what kind of woke me up in that situation, like something that he said. But it was also my past experience, because I was almost ready to deal with it. Because society makes you think that you have to deal with something like that. You have to deal with men having multiple women, even though you know you're not doing that. You know you're solid, but you have to go through struggle love in order to get that happily ever after when you're like 80 years old. Absolutely not. And if that's the case, sign me out. Unsubscribe me. Know what I'm saying? And so freaking, yeah, so one day I remember we went out to eat one last time, and I went over his house one last time, and I remember it was before Thanksgiving. It was a while before Thanksgiving. We hadn't seen each other like all of October almost, and so we saw each other maybe like once or twice in November. And that last time before Thanksgiving, I think it was, I don't remember, but that last time before Thanksgiving, I decided we had that, what it was that we had a date to go to a restaurant, and we both thought that we were both talking about 2 different restaurants. And for some reason, so he ended up going to another one, I ended up going to another one. For some reason, that let me know that we are not compatible, and to run and just leave it alone and to move forward and heal like myself, because of the fact that I was so willing to deal with that almost. So we went to the restaurant. He finally ended up coming to the restaurant that I was at, and it was just like, yeah, I never told him that I couldn't do it. I just didn't do it. And so just yesterday, this man is still calling me every time now. Okay, so before, like last year, so this was late 2021, so all of 2022 he would come back around, and at first he was real attitudinal because he still thought he had that hold over me. So he would tell me about other women he was with, and it would hurt, but I had to break my own heart. I had to, because I knew like I'm not dealing with that anymore. I will never ever deal with that ever again. And so so 2022, so we're getting like into 2022, like summertime. And I think he started to realize, like, wait a minute, like this girl, every time he would come back in Hoover, I would literally just, I mean, at that time I would still talk to him, but it never worked. Like I would never, one day I was almost on my way to his house and I turned around and I made up some excuse because I'm like, no, I'm not going to get sucked back into this. We're not doing it. So late last year, like September, October, he came back. September and October, I think. September and November he came back. And the whole conversation was different. Now it's, you know what? I never had anybody like walk away from me like that. I never had anyone like respect themselves like that. And I'm telling you, people notice that. Like when you show that you love yourself more than to deal with some crap, like people notice that and respect that. Like for real. So he will always say that, you know, he started to say that, like, yeah, I never ever dealt with someone like you. I even dated another guy in November, and because I walked away, he said the same thing. He's like, I never dealt with someone like you. I never experienced it. And what it does is make them respect you. It don't even, like, I don't know if they ever want you back, and they probably do. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that goes, but they respect you. So now when he calls me and he comes around and stuff, now he doesn't even say anything. Like, so last Friday he called me and he said nothing. So I thought, because it was a Maryland number, I panicked almost and thought it was my niece because she's in Maryland. It was like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was an Odenton, Maryland number. She's in Baltimore. So I'm like, I didn't know if it was maybe her aunt, or I didn't know. So I'm like, oh Lord. As soon as I answered the phone, I knew it was him. And I'm like, hello? And so I bust out laughing and I hung up. So then I get a text, I just wanted to hear your voice. And I'm like, oh my God, like, please stop. He's like, I just couldn't get the words out. I couldn't. But before, last 2021 and early 2022, oh, he had all the words because he thought that I was one of those, because I feel like I showed so much selflessness and no respect for myself. And people like that, toxic people, and a lot of people will take advantage of it. But now he knows you have absolutely no passageway back to me. Like, I don't care how much I wanted to, I would never do it ever. So just last night he called me from another number, and I know it's him because he's the only person that calls me and doesn't say nothing. Now, when he used to do that, I used to call him and be like, oh, is that you? And he'd be like, no, it's not me. But somehow he would get me back on the phone and we'd be talking, oh, but how you doing? I miss you. Amazing. Okay. And so now I don't even have nothing to say. Like, don't talk to me. So I ended up calling him on his number so he knows that I know it's him. And I left him a message saying, like, leave me alone. Like, I am done with it. And so I say all that to say, the first guy wouldn't respond to me forever. Like, I don't even know if he would now, but forever. Like, I would call and he just would not respond. And to him, I'm pretty sure he looked like, dang, this girl take all of this? Girl, I ain't got time. Like, he probably ended up running into a woman that gave him a run for his money, actually showed more respect, and it made him step into a whole nother position. But the second guy, I was just like, you know what? I would rather break my own heart and break myself down to build myself back up, to really show anybody, I'm not tolerating it. I'm not dealing with it. And just see the difference in the response that I get. Now I had one that would never talk to me, and now I have one that can't leave me alone. Like, at all. Like, he can't leave me alone. Like, I mean, it's 2023. We stopped dating 2021. So, and we're in March, okay? So, freaking, yeah, it's crazy. And that's just honestly the power in walking away. Like, you really show people, you make them respect you. And that's really, I mean, now ain't nobody trying to get like no overboard respect, like, you better respect me, I'm all powerful. But it is a power behind it, and it shows that you love love yourself, and self-love is literally so powerful. To be able to walk away from things that don't serve you, to be able to tell somebody no, even if you want to, but you just know it wouldn't be good for you, to know that it's a guy that has a lot of money, but you know he got a lot of women, and just say, you know what, like, when it's my time, it's my time. And to say, like, not only does that look good to them, it looks good to God. It looks good into the universe. It puts you on a whole different vibration to let the universe know, like, okay, this one is a little different. Know what I'm saying? She on something else. Okay? And it helps you to block and recognize when in further situations and future situations that people ain't respecting you the way you know you need to be respected. And because of that, it's deuces to you, nigga. I said I was gonna stop saying that. It's deuces to you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that's honestly it. Like, that is the power in walking away, is because you really, and not only does the universe feel like God feels like he can trust you. The universe knows that you're on another vibration. Those people respect you. You respect yourself. And you realize, like, nigga, I don't have to deal with none of that. I make myself feel good. I don't have to deal with none of that. None of it. I don't got to deal with none of that. On my mama. For real. And it hurts sometimes. Sometimes you feel like you're selling yourself short, but I promise you you're not. I promise you, loving yourself, putting yourself first, telling whomever no or whatever that does not serve you, or something that people that want to walk over you, get the F away. Bro, I'm telling you, because even if you can't go embark upon that journey, there's plenty more other journeys, but you have peace in knowing that can't nobody play with you. Can't nobody take advantage of you. If you wouldn't take advantage of you, why the hell would you let somebody else do it? You can only let somebody do as much as you would do to yourself. If you out here abusing yourself by dealing with certain situations that you know don't serve you, of course somebody else is going to do that. Of course. So, sorry, I got serious. So yeah, that's just it though. Like, there's power in walking away. There's power in showing up like you love yourself. Showing up like you won't ever let nothing take it over on you. You ain't tolerating it. Know what I'm saying? So, if you like this video, if you like my fit, you like my fit? This is real simple. If you like this video, press whatever, like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, I'm just playing. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't like the video, comment below. Share this video. Oh, excuse me. If you come across this video, share this video for the girl. Help me get this across, because like I said, or get this out, because like I said, there's so many people that need to hear this, because I see it all the time, and I was that person, and I didn't have someone. It was actually the second guy to say something to make me realize that I'm not loving myself. It wasn't that I heard a speaker or that I heard someone. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear my mom say that. I didn't hear my sister. Nobody told me that. I'm now telling them that. So it's like, yeah, it's time. It's time to love ourselves. It's getting cold out here, so I'm going to cut this short. It's time to love ourselves, put ourselves first. And if it don't serve you, don't serve it. And that's just on my mama. The channel art on this page will be changing soon. Yeah, follow me on creative_by_choice if you want to see some of my content. I keep Instagram and YouTube very separate, but yeah, follow me. Bye, guys.